Welcome to it, everybody. This is Tuesday, and this is Back to the Window with Scott and Scott. I am Scott Steen, lead handicapper at winnersandwhiners.com.
And I'm your co-host, Scott Rochelle, senior handicapper over winnersandwhiners.com.
And together we get together and do this every single day, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, as we do our very best to help everybody out there head back to the window, cash those winning tickets. Scott, audio sounds a little better today, buddy.
Does. It also, I have a little bit of a weird hairstyle going on with a line across the top, you know?
I know. From somebody that wears cans every day, buddy, yeah. I totally get it. Are you wearing a toupee too?
I am not, unfortunately. No, this is all real.
That doesn't do anything. That's the weirdest meme that people talk about me wearing a rug. Like, this is what I would pick. IC said I went 1-5 yesterday. I got obliterated. How'd you do, buddy?
I did well. I ended up having the Rangers and Penguins over, and that was a fun time. On top of it, I'm not a Rangers fan, so seeing the Rangers get their ass kicked wasn't exactly a bad experience for me, but yeah, I had the over, and it cashed in the second period.
Of course, you have to temper your excitement as your roommate had the Rangers to advance, so.
Of course. I wasn't showboating or anything, but I was happy when the Penguins scored about, 15 goals yesterday.
Doing a one-man conga line around your new apartment?
Pretty much. A little bit. So,
Scott his stay in Brooklyn lasts exactly 1 week. So, his roommate kicks him out.
Just throws me out.
G Money, I made it. I don't know why I couldn't find the feed on YouTube. I don't know either. And that's a weird place to tell us they're on YouTube. So, glad you found it, buddy. James Mounts in the house says they have the wrong date posted for the show. Oh, I bet they don't. I bet I clicked the wrong link. What do we have up there, buddy?
I can't tell from our actual platform, so I got to go out to YouTube and see what the live stream says. I don't know. Is it possible? Yeah, I've seen it happen before.
Yeah, it is. I thought I clicked on the right. I don't know. So it says the wrong link.
I see 5.9 instead of 5.10.
Okay, very good. I will.
Right. We'll fix it post.
Yep, we'll fix it in post. That's exactly right. So thanks for finding us anyway. We're living in the past, just like Jethro Tull says. We're out there living in the past. Scott, I did Chris's show and I was drinking my green tea. Somebody asked me what's in the glass.
Is that what they call it nowadays?
If it was whiskey, and I talked about my days of day drinking. Are we still day drink, buddy? We still have cocktails during the day?
Not solo. If the only time I ever really drink is socially. So if I have some friends that are trying to drink before a game or do something, or if I'm going to Belmont with some friends, then yeah, I'll do some drinking. But I don't really drink solo, and I really never have.
Okay, yeah, good enough. And I told him, I was like, if I was to start chugging whiskey at 2:00 in the afternoon my time, that would not be a productive rest of the day. So,
are you a functional alcoholic, or
my time?
If you have a couple drinks, are you just done with it?
I don't. Well, I'm not. Okay, for starters, I'm not.
I was joking. I know.
But when I was drinking, I was still very high functioning. Yeah. So, I'm going to see if I can. Is there any way I can edit this in real time?
I think you got to do it after.
Yep. I was hoping to be able to do this in real time, but no, I cannot. So, yeah, we'll get that changed out. Thanks for letting us know, guys. As we will change that. All right. So, yeah, you did all right yesterday. I did okay. We hit the play of the day, as we had the Boston Celtics at Pick'em. They certainly did their job there. It took them 3 quarters to get their ass going, but they finally did.
Al Horford, pretty good.
When I was talking about that game, I said, well, somebody besides Horford's going to have to step up because he's not going to be able to repeat what he did in the game before that, and he got damn close to it. So,
yep.
JC Stone says it's difficult to find you guys every day.
I'm assuming that it's going to be better when we actually switch recording platforms.
We're gonna switch. We've talked about this on the show. I know you guys are regulars. You've heard us say this. We are. I think we've got it narrowed down to 2. Of course, that's not a decision that you and I are making. We're not involved in that part. That's made of far.
Sounds like The Bachelor.
Yes, but yeah, it's believe me, it is frustrating for us. It's frustrating for you, and it's really frustrating for the people who would benefit by us getting a lot more views, which is the owners and everything. So we are going to get it fixed. We're aware of the problem. It sucks. Thanks for your patience. Thanks for your effort. It shouldn't take that much effort to find shit on the internet, right?
Yeah.
Magellan Sports says day baseball and a couple of cold ones. What's more American than that? Winning, dominating your opponents.
Yeah, that's fair. I was gonna say a hot dog, but
J.R. Black in the house, and he said that the New York teams are dead. Said both killed different 5-pick parlays.
I'm assuming he means the Yankees -1.5. The Yankees actually won the game.
Well, that was the good news, bad news yesterday, because it was my day, and I put out the Yankees, and you kind of pointed out the Yankees aren't scoring any runs, and I said, well, it's John Gray, but Yankees still couldn't score any runs, so that was the good part. The bad part is the Dodgers, not even close, not even competitive.
Had you scored no runs against Quintana in 2022?
I don't know.
Whatever.
IC says, I don't see Milwaukee coming back from that fourth quarter collapse. Scott,
I think it's going 7 games.
Was that a series breaker last night? No?
It was a series breaker in the sense that if Milwaukee won the game, the series was over. But I'm not going to go ahead and say that Milwaukee's now going to get run out of the building in the next 2 games because they lost one close game. It was fine. These teams are very evenly matched. I'm sure going into the series, I know I had it going 7. I'm sure a lot of different people had it going 7. Did you have it going 7?
I thought it would go. I thought it would go a minimum of 6 and probably 7.
So. Okay. Either way, do I think that Boston's going to now run Milwaukee out of the building because they won one road game? No. I think it'll be close. I think Boston's still going to win the series. They were my pick before the series started, but I still think it's going 7.
Okay. Very solid. And now that we got a few people in the house, I want to remind you guys, please smash that like button. We appreciate it. Of course, subscribe to both of our YouTube channels, the Winners and Whiners YouTube channel and the Max Wagers Network YouTube channel, where you can catch all the great Max Wagers Network offerings, starting with Sean Higgs, Midday Money at noon, Allie Burns and Morning Wood at 1, me and Chris doing parlays at 2, you and I doing Back to the Window at 3, Sean Miller checking in on the beautiful game, the soccer show at 4 p.m., and wrapping it all up, as always, it's Detroit Lenny, along with Nick and Tim Earl. Tim Earl in the house, by the way, if you didn't give Tim the shout out. What's up, buddy? They're doing Game Time Decision at 5 p.m. Eastern time. So make sure you check those out as well. Check out the deals that we got going with our partner over there at Caesars, as we once again are partnering up with the good folks at Caesars Entertainment to offer you bet insurance. That is $1,100. Absolutely risk-free. Your first bet. Caesars is in your state. Get your account open, get it funded, and you can bet up to $1,000, $1,100 with the juice, risk-free. If you win, you win a big bet. And if you lose, you get made good by Caesars. It's like it never happened. The code there is ATSWINCZR. That is ATSWINSCZR. You can find that link in the description of this broadcast. You can find the link and the code as well. No more Derby guide. Don't get your Derby guide.
Yeah. Preakness guide, I'm sure, coming out at some point.
That's right. We'll be having the Preakness guide coming up. Said my bad. Not the Yankees. It was the Dodgers on the money.
That's what I
thought. Okay. What's up, guys? Best bet Dodgers run line.
We already tried that. We tried that already. But
Chris went back to the well, by the way.
Well, it's the game after theory. We lost, so the Dodgers have to win tonight by 5.
That's absolutely right. And he did the best to jinx that picks for today, because he put up the run line and he put up the alternative run line -2.5. Mm-hmm. So it pays +110. What else is going on here? Did I hit all the plugs, Scott? I think I did, right? I hit
the plugs, yeah. Truth is, we don't really have as many plugs as we did about a week and a half ago anymore. So it takes less time to go through those.
That's why it seems like we didn't get everything done. But yeah, you're absolutely right. So let's do our recap of yesterday. Let's find out what happened, man. We'll start off, as we always do, with the good news, the bad news, the people that took it to the shorts, the people that took it to the bank, and to tie it in with our company. It's the winners, it's the whiners. Let's find out which one you were on today's edition of Call the Cops. Solid. All right. Hey, if you were playing there in the major leagues, if you had the White Sox on the money line, Jesus Christ, playing against the Guardians, You're probably already spending that money, Scott, because you led 8-2 after 8 innings. All you got to do is shut it down. My God, you can give up a couple runs there in the ninth. You don't care. Cleveland, well, they put up a 6th spot at the top of the ninth, going to extra innings. That ain't good. Chicago, well, they did what they do. They lost in extras. Congratulations, blowing a 6-run lead in the 9th inning, White Sox. If you had the pale hose there, Jesus, call the cops.
And in hockey, if you had the Predators plus 1.5 trying to avoid the sweep against the Avalanche, they actually led 3-2 with less than 12 minutes to go, which means all you have to do is not get outscored by 3 in about the final 12 minutes. Well, they got outscored by 3 in the rest of the game, including an empty netter with 56 seconds left. Predators went from up 1 to down 2, and they lost by 2.
Well done, and staying on the frozen pond. If you had Capitals on the money line against the Panthers, they led 2-1 with less than 3 minutes left. Scott, Washington, now they hit the post on an empty netter after the Panthers pulled their goalie, and Florida made them pay. They tied the game with 2:04 left, and the Caps, we've heard this story before, they lose it in overtime. Good God, call the cops.
It was definitely a pretty rough situation there for the Capitals because you're about 2 minutes away from going up 3-1 on the President's Trophy winners.
Yep.
And now you're tied 2-2. Not a fun time.
No, that has to hurt a lot. And there was some good news out there. There were some nice, easy wins. You know who you were, and now we're going to tell everybody else as we found out who spent Monday night out there, Scott, sitting in the rocking chair.
So the first one was actually my play of the day. If you had the over 6 in the Rangers and Penguins game, 2 goals in the first period and then 6 goals in the second period alone, and the game landed 9.
Very good. And if you had the Brewers Reds over 7.5, my goodness, somebody get me an arm, would you? 9 runs in the first 5 innings, 6 runs in the last 4. It ended up 15, double up on the over 7.5. Congratulations, you got a nice rocking chair win there.
By the way, Reds, they cooking?
Yeah, 2 in a row.
Yeah,
2 in a row, buddy.
2 in a row. That's called a winning streak.
Yeah, it is.
But looking at the last one, if you had the Phillies on the money line against the Mariners, they led 6-0 after 5 innings, and they won 9-0.
I was on the wrong side of that, by the way. I had the Mariners. The only.
I don't remember who was pitching. Flexen was pitching, I think?
Flexen was pitching, yes.
Okay.
He got rocked.
Yeah. Well, true, he didn't even need to get rocked. They just didn't score.
No, yeah, he could have given up 1, and that still ends up the same. All right, well, let's talk about this. We seem to have one of these about every day, and there are some definitely head scratchers out there. I kind of get why the total was where it was, but man, it looked bad. Let's find out. Odds makers, I think you're drinking a little bit of whiskey during the day. Who's doing the day drinking out there in the risk management section, Scott? Odds makers, they're drunk. So yeah, we lit up our text chain about this last night with you and me and Chris. What a dreadful game to watch. If you talk about torturing people to get information out of them, just make them watch that first half. That was the total in the Warriors-Grizzlies game. It was 225.5. And how many did they score in the first half, Scotty?
Well, I don't remember if it was 225.5 or 222.
222.5. Sorry, my bad.
Say, it really didn't matter. They scored 79 points in the first half.
79 points in the first half. Hello.
I think both teams went a combined, it was either 5 for 39 or 6 for 39 from 3 in the first half.
Not good. Now they did step on the gas in the second half, but my God, you were sunk. They're not going to have 140 plus in the second half, and they didn't. But they did have 120, but that wasn't enough to even get close. As the 225.5 still landed under 200 at 199. Not good. Not good at all.
It's pretty tough to cash an over. It's actually impossible to cash an over when the winning team scores 101 points.
That does seem very, very unlikely in the NBA, certainly in the playoffs. So
now, if you want to talk about, for example, IC mentioning he doesn't see Milwaukee coming back after yesterday, I think they got a better shot at coming back than Memphis. I think Memphis is just dead to rights. That seemed like a game where they really had everything they needed. Ja wasn't playing. The Warriors couldn't hit a shot for about 2.5 quarters. You had the lead in the fourth quarter, and then you punted the game. So if you want to talk about collapses, I think Memphis's collapse was worse.
Yeah, that's hard not to argue with because they did have him in spite of not having Ja. And we talked about whether that would, translate like it did in the regular season where they were very good without him.
I don't know if
And
it did or not because Golden State was so bad that I really don't know if they were better without Ja or if they were awful. Just Golden State decided to keep him around in the game for the entire time.
yeah, Memphis is up 7 going into the fourth quarter.
But I'm saying, did you think Memphis played well? Did you think the defense was good, or was Golden State just turning it over and chucking up a bunch of missed 3-pointers?
Well, it's hard to say anybody that was scored 23 points per quarter that had 69 points after 3 was playing well.
That's what I'm saying. So I will acknowledge that
Give them a little defensive credit. How about that?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Defensively, they're a lot better without Ja. And we saw Ja get torched, hell, even by Patrick Beverley in the first series because he can't guard anybody. So if you want to talk about what his actual impact is on that team, he helps the offense dramatically. But defensively, I think it's safe to say Ja's a liability. Can I say that?
Oh, sure.
So for that reason, I do believe that Memphis defensively was going to play better, which is why I thought this total made no sense, because you figured Memphis would be worse offensively and better defensively, and with Ja out, they're a lot more deliberate with their offensive sets because Ja can't just get downhill and get a free layup at the rim. So I figured the pace would be a lot slower, and it was, and the bad shooting definitely did not help.
Somebody was getting excited like it was Ooey Pooey Day. It's Patrick Corbin Day.
That's big.
The Patrick Corbin has not been good. 0-5 on the year, 7.16 ERA going up against the Mets. And Carlos Carrasco.
Carrasco's actually been pretty good.
Yeah, he has. He has. Mets playing a big number there, -175. They are on the road. You like the run line there, bud?
I can't say no to the run line. The Mets are 20-10. You can go through the results. They've kind of been splitting for the last week and change, but we've seen the Mets actually look really sharp for the majority of the season. And the Nationals, we thought would be a basement dweller. They are a basement dweller, 10-20, and they're 3-11 at home. So home field doesn't actually mean anything, apparently. And they've played 4 times already this season in Nationals Park. The Mets are 3-1 with each win coming by at least 2 runs. I don't mind a run line play.
Yeah, I agree. IC says Dylan Brooks worst player on Memphis. Well, he certainly was.
I said this weeks ago. I said that Dylan Brooks is going to be the reason why Memphis loses in the playoffs. And I said that when he gets suspended for Game 3, Golden State should call the league office and beg them to let him play.
Really? Just the one game? Just one game? You sure you couldn't make that?
That's what I figured he was going to get. But I figured I said it, and I was half joking, but I said Ja would not have attempted 31 shots in Game 3 if Brooks was on the court. And from what you can tell yesterday, Brooks really, really likes to shoot, no matter how bad he actually is at the game of basketball.
2 for 19 from beyond the arc, 5 for 9, or 2 for 9 from beyond the arc, 5 for 19.
He's overall bad. Defensively, he's not bad, but offensively, he's the worst type of bad there is, which is that he thinks he's good.
Right.
So he's going to keep shooting. He's the irrational confidence offensive player.
Yep, absolutely. JC Stone telling us that when you link the max wagers, always brings up the show for tomorrow, which is fine. It should be there, but it's got the incorrect time. Yeah, I got to talk to Jim about that.
Yeah, I don't control any of that setup, so that doesn't involve me.
No, we have our EP, our executive producer of all the shows. Jim is nice enough to set up all that stuff for the whole week, so we can just plug and play. But yeah, I got to talk to him about the time on that because it does show an hour later than it actually is. So nothing to do for those LA boys in Pittsburgh. Should be focused.
They should be because they lost yesterday.
Yeah. Dodgers should win by at least 8 tonight. Now that's a bold prediction right there.
8, okay. I don't know what what's the alternative 7.5 spread. That's the real question.
I doubt that's available. I doubt you can get a 7.5. Maybe I'll get
you never know.
Maybe get a 5.5. But
let me see. Well, 1.5 is -140. So how high does this go?
I can tell you 2.5 plus 105 or
7.5 is plus 650.
Okay. All right. There you go. That's a bold play.
I wouldn't take it, but you know.
The Jones says he watches the shows on Winners and Whiners. Okay, cool. I got a feeling the Dodgers were going to be hungover. Took Pirates plus 205. Nicely done, Dano. Well done indeed. That's a nice hit for sure. Why'd you think?
I guess Quintana's decent again. I don't know.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. First win by a starter this year.
Yep. Good for them.
Agreed. Plus 650. Okay. Yeah, go get him, Magellan. It could be a blowout because, Dodgers best team in baseball, Pirates. We thought we were going to be the worst team in baseball. They're not quite.
I didn't think they would be the worst. I thought they would be bottom 3.
You thought the A's would be the worst?
I'm trying to think of which team I actually thought would be the worst. It wasn't the Reds. I thought the Reds would be bad. I had them coming in. I had them being a bottom feeder, but I didn't have them being as bad.
They've just been decimated by injuries. They were
I
not.
want to say it was either Baltimore or Washington, who I thought would be the worst teams in the league, because Washington was actively punting, and Baltimore I just thought would be awful. And Baltimore's been still not very good, but they've been not as bad as I thought. But yeah, a lot of teams that we had for the under win totals, they're not on pace to win 40 games, but they're on pace to go under.
Yep, for sure. One of those teams was the Diamondbacks, and they have surprised us so far as they are.
The whole division's been good.
Oh, everybody's over 500 still.
Yeah.
Everybody's at least 2 games over 500. That's we talked about it with Tim when Tim did our West show. Talked about the NL West being the best division of baseball. Not exactly a hot take, but they have showed it so far this season as they're all.
I do want to ask you something, though, about a specific player in the NL West. I know it's kind of early to talk about the awards for baseball, but for NL MVP, is Machado the clear first place guy right now?
Gotta be, right?
I got to assume so. I'm curious what his odds are. Do you think if Tatis comes back or when he comes back, that's going to hurt him? Or baseball is just so individual based on highlights alone that it doesn't even matter?
Well, you can see cannibalization when you have 2 guys on the same team, especially if that team has success.
Well, I'm saying cannibalization's a bit tricky when Tatis has no shot to win the MVP.
Well, when's he going to be back?
Probably in like a month and change. He's not going to win MVP missing about a month and a half, 2 months.
You wouldn't think so. I mean, never say never.
That's why when you say cannibalization, usually you have 2 guys competing for the same award, and they take votes away. Just explaining to the people at home.
That's exactly what I meant.
But I don't think that he's going to get any votes from the people at home.
I don't agree with that. I think if the Padres do well and he has a monster rest of the season, let's see where are we at here. So we'll put him at July 1st. So if he puts up 25 to 30 home runs, 80 RBIs.
I believe that with the Padres playing well without him, that doesn't exactly help his case.
Okay. By the way, I do not have any prices for the awards yet. I was trying.
Well, there is a game going on, so I'm not sure if it's because of the fact that there's a live game going on, but that's in the AL, so I don't know why the NL MVP odds would be affected by that.
Yeah.
But let me see if I could find something. I just was mentioning it because I know that the awards, of course, are, let's just say, well, they're a long struggle because you have to wait it out for several months. I finally cashed a future yesterday in basketball.
Only took you 2 years, buddy.
I was going to say Monty Williams. Why did it take me 2 years?
Because you had him last year, too.
I didn't have him last year.
Yeah, you did.
I thought he won last year, but he didn't get it.
You said you had him and Thibodeau got you.
No, I didn't have Monty last year.
I swear you did. You sure?
I would know what I had. I did not have Monty last year.
You'd think. Well,
but I took him this year solely because he lost last year. So I cashed a plus 550 draw there. But I'm just mentioning it because of the fact that there's a lot of value to be found earlier in the season because I got Monty at 550 and he closed at around like minus 900. But at the time when it was still reasonable, minus 150. So It seems to me that some value plays, of course, Machado and Soto are going to battle it out. I love Soto. The Nationals are so bad that I don't think he's going to win. And if you go through his home runs and RBI numbers, let's just say nobody's on base when he hits home runs. So
if you're playing for a team like that, you've got to be 10% better at least than somebody playing on the winning team.
I think Machado right now is the favorite. And the reason why I also brought up long shots, there's an NL Cy Young candidate that I'm kind of looking into. I think Zach Gallen is 80-1.
Okay.
And he's been something else, which doesn't fully surprise me because I loved him in Miami. I thought he was the best pitcher they had for a couple of years there. And with Arizona, he's been hit or miss. He was injured a bit last year. But you go through Gallen's numbers, 80-1. Isn't that a little bit high up to this point?
You could have got Robbie Ray last year for a very similar price.
Yeah. So there's always value to be found early on in the futures. You got to just pick which guy to look at. I think Zach Gallen should be closer to 40-1 than 80-1.
Magellan said just bet the over in every NHL game. It's a Popeil.
I did it yesterday.
I didn't forget it. Dano wants to know Heat money line with the Canes money line or puck line.
Well, the puck line has been pretty good in each of these games because with the empty netters involved, each game's been decided by 2+ goals.
Right.
So I guess if you want to make a case that they bounce back completely and they dominated home, because this has actually been a home series for hockey, which is pretty rare, then I don't necessarily mind it. But do you like Carolina tonight, or do you think that Boston just solved the riddle and it seems like the goalie changes all they needed to actually win games?
I still like Carolina. I don't know that I like them at that price. Laying 150s, I think maybe a little strong there, but I'm a big fan of Carolina in this series and in this game.
Yeah, I'm really not sure what happened in this series because even game one was close. They blew it open. Game 2, they crushed. And then game 3, they were winning in the first period, 1-0. And then I jinxed them on Twitter. I said I thought Boston was going to get swept, and then Boston's killed them ever since. So they flipped the switch, and Carolina seems to have not fully recovered.
Yeah, the defense has made all the difference there. The goaltending, after giving up 10 goals in the first 2 games, they've given up just 4 in the last 2. But I think it makes a difference when they go on the road, and I think Carolina gets it even and pulls it. I mean,
goes up 3-2.
Goes up 3-2. I think they get even from their loss the other night, and pick up the win to go up 3-2 in the series. You?
I'm still picking Carolina to win the series, so I agree. I still think they're the better team. But when you're switching off between Ronta and the youngster, and there's a lot of question marks going there, I do think that it could be a bit of a, I don't want to say sideshow, but it's a bit distracting when you don't exactly know which goalie is going to start each game.
Yeah, that's certainly a good point. Somebody loving your headset, by the way.
Thanks. Whatever works.
And
Renzo, to answer your question, I did not use these to play Call of Duty, but I used to be a big Call of Duty guy.
There you go. By the way, the sound quality of your headset is so much better than your shooting in the bathroom like you were doing. So
thanks. I didn't change locations. I just changed headsets.
Yeah, I know.
It's a clean bathroom, you know.
It's much better. So, what else you like tonight? Well, you got any hockey picks?
For hockey today, it's a rare time in the NHL where you have 4 series, and they're all tied at 2-2, which is pretty rare. Usually one team, at least one of them is going to be up 3-1, or one series will be over by now.
Right.
Long ago, we saw with the Avalanche, who completed the sweep yesterday. I find the Blues series extremely fascinating because we were talking about how it's a home series and how a lot of games have been a blowout. This has not been a home series per se. It has been for the last 3 games. But each game has been decided by 3+ goals. So These games have really not been close individually. I actually like St. Louis tonight. They finally switched goalies. Bennington was pretty good. I can't say he was amazing by any means, but the Blues really just peppered Fleury with a bunch of shots. They did what they needed to do. Bennington saved 28 of 30 shot attempts, so he was good. But Fleury had to face 33 shots. I believe that 20-something of them came in the first 2 periods. So St. Louis put it on him early, and Bennington looked really good. But anytime you have a Stanley Cup winning goaltender off the bench who can come in and fill in for the rookie who's been struggling, I think maybe that might boost the confidence of the Blues a little bit. And we still know that the Wild's penalty kill is atrocious. The Blues' power play has been pretty good in this series. I don't mind St. Louis. I think that the Wild are a good team, but do I think they should be favored by this much? I mean, you're looking at Minnesota, who's laying about -140. That seems a little bit high to me. I don't mind getting plus money with St. Louis.
Yeah, I think Bennington, like you said, gave up just 2 goals last time, and the Blues just started off with a flurry.
Well done.
Of shots in the first 2 periods.
That's also the thing about Fleury, which I'm still a little bit on the fence about, is he's a very streaky playoff goalie. When he's good, he's really, really good.
Right.
But he has some moments where he's really bad. And Bennington, for the most part, has been a steady and solid playoff goalie in his career.
Agreed. Hey, I forgot to plug one thing. I forgot to tell everybody. Are you going to do Ali's show tonight, right?
Yes.
Forgot to tell everybody to check us out on Total Chaos. It should be posted somewhere around 8 p.m. Eastern time. So,
yeah,
make sure you check that. We're going to do 5 MLB games where you and I talk about the totals. Chris will not be joining us because he's a little too good for that. But
he's still on the phone. He's still on the phone with the insurance people.
The insurance company, the non-progressive insurance company.
Damn it, Trevor.
King Me likes the Maple Leafs tonight. Don't call me the Leaves.
I can't pick any. I can't pick the Maple Leafs in really any game. I know that they've been doing well and they're tied, and every time they win a game, they get killed by 4 goals the game after, which has been Tampa's secret weapon, is the awful losses. I just don't trust Toronto. And I know that they've been very good at home, but when you have not won a playoff series since 2004, and you've had several opportunities to potentially open the series up, and you failed every time, the longer the series goes, the more I think Toronto's going to choke. So I am not interested in Toronto tonight. If you are, I don't blame you, because they're still a very good hockey team. But maybe it's just memories of Toronto finding ways to punt series, and I don't want anything to do with them as the series gets closer to the end.
By the way, if Toronto does win tonight, remember that incredible streak that we talked about with Vasilevsky coming off a loss in the playoffs, where he is practically unbeatable in the next.
The Lightning are 17-0, awful loss in their last 17 games in the playoffs.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Do you like Toronto tonight? Because I get the idea of they're going to bounce back and everything, but I see this every year. They're a great offense. The defense is not great, and they choke in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, I don't trust them as the series gets longer and longer, because you assume eventually Tampa Bay is going to show off that Stanley Cup pedigree and just have one game where they win without losing the game prior. And if that's the case, they're going to win the series.
Very good. Bronco Devil says Chris King has already turned into his parents. I love those commercials, by the way. Being a youngster,
it's a good one.
You're probably not as a
what is that? Scotch egg. It's a meatball.
Yeah, I'll give you $100. You can tell me what this is.
Scotch egg. It's a meatball. Damn it.
I got to tell you, I found myself doing too many of those things for comfort. Who else reads books about tanks? My dad. That's right. Funny shit, indeed. And a funny line by Bronco Devil. Bronco Devil, by the way, it's the first time I got to talk to him in real time to tell him thanks for the hat, man. Bought me a nice hat. I don't usually get like nice hats. I'm usually looking for like last year's model in the bargain bin or something, I find it loath to spend that kind of money on a hat. So God bless everybody that did. That's a Bronco Devil. That's very cool.
I think the one hockey game I'm the most confused by tonight, because of what happened the previous game, is the Kings game against the Oilers, because it looked like the Oilers had the series on cruise control. They were scoring like 7 goals a game.
Yeah.
And then
you tweeted about it?
I didn't tweet anything about it. But
Okay.
then the Kings just had a shutout in the last game. Jonathan Quick stood on his head. But it seems like the Kings have been really good at peppering Mike Smith, which is never a bad recipe to win. I can't blame Mike Smith when your team scores no goals in support. But I don't know if the Kings figured something out, or if the Oilers just had a bad game. But if I'm going to roast Toronto for choking playoff series, I'm going to have to roast the Oilers, because they have not won a playoff series in a while with McDavid and Draisaitl, which is not a good look.
No, that's like being a Chiefs fan. That's like watching Mahomes and Hill wash out in the championship game. You just know
Not even the championship game. It's just the first round.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. But I mean, where you have high expectations,
yeah,
you have players that aren't going to be there forever. And, you're just wasting another year that you didn't win. So
Kings are a young team for the most part. They have some old guys who were on the championship teams, but for the most part, they're a gritty team that's not exactly talented, but the uglier the game gets, the better they perform. They're one of those, and the Oilers are the opposite. They want games with fast pace. They want to be able to control some odd man rushes. If the Kings make it ugly, I do have questions about Edmonton's defense.
Okay. Can they win tonight?
I think they can. I guess my question for you is, which series or games have you believed in? The ones where Edmonton rolled, or the ones where the Kings actually either hung tough or won by shutout? I'm not laying minus 225 here. I don't mind the Kings plus 1.5.
Okay.
Do you?
No, I don't. Jim Williams says Quick can be a zone keeper like Fleury.
Yeah, he was very, very good last game, but the Kings also outshot the Oilers by 20. I want to see the shooting numbers in there, but I know that Smith had 32 saves after 2 periods. So the Kings really invested in just getting a bunch of shots on net, and I want to actually see what the exact number is. Quick at 31 saves, so he was 31 to 31. And yeah, Mike Smith faced 45 shots, and he saved 42 of them. He had the empty netter. So if you outshoot a team by 14, and they also were doing pretty well in the shot department where they lost 8-0, which was kind of crazy because they were outshooting the Oilers for most of that game. I don't want to lay 1.5 with Edmonton. I just don't want to do it.
By the way, Bronco Devil commented on my own video, said that he would not get you a hat. Will not get you a Yankees hat.
I see how it is.
Can't do it.
All good.
Same reason I didn't get a Chiefs hat. I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
He can't. He couldn't. I guarantee you, Bronco Devil could not bring himself to buy any Chiefs gear.
It's fine.
That's okay. That's okay. Starting to see top 5s in the NFL or top 10 teams that have the Broncos rated in front of the Chiefs. Do you agree with that?
Is that top 5 for sales or is that top 5 for actual roster?
It's actual roster.
I have to take a deep dive of the Kansas City Chiefs overall roster because I know that besides losing Hill, they also lost Matthew, and I'm curious what they're going to do in that secondary. I mean, Denver had a very good offseason. Don't get it twisted, but I'm going to have to look through the rosters. At this point, I'll have to plead the fifth because I am not well informed enough at this point in time.
Okay, I'll help you out. Fuck no.
Okay.
No, not a chance.
Okay. Do you think the Chargers are better than both?
No.
On paper.
I think the Chargers are. If the Chargers have really fixed their run defense, I think they're better than Denver.
I'm saying on paper. I'm not saying just looking at the coaching and potential stupidity. I think the Chargers are the most talented team in that division.
Okay.
In my opinion.
All right. We'll see. We'll see how the defense goes.
Okay.
Chiefs need to be able to generate a pass rush. Hopefully if they can get to the passer, that division's over.
On the bright side, you lost Sorensen, so there you go.
Matthew has to be so pissed off. You know where he went?
He went to New Orleans.
He did.
Isn't Sorensen there too?
That's what I meant. That's what I know. Do you know where Sorensen went? Sorensen went to New Orleans. Yeah.
I was going to say no. I thought both of them went to New Orleans. Yeah.
Absolutely true. Coward is Broncos number 2.
I think that hurts the Broncos case because Coward over a course of a season, his power rankings tend to fluctuate and is usually never right. So keep that in mind.
They're very consistently bad. So, what else you like tonight?
Tonight you got 2 NBA games, but the truth is I didn't really talk about them because I really don't have a strong opinion on either of them because both of those series have been extremely home driven. Games have not been that close, and the home teams won every game. I know game 1 was technically a 7-point win for Phoenix. They were up about 20 with 5 minutes to go, so that was basically a rout. Do you think that either of these road teams are going to ride the momentum, or do you think that they're going to go back on the road and get their ass kicked? Because I really think that Phoenix is going to bounce back tonight.
Yes.
I think Booker might have a big game. Maybe the Chris Paul revenge game for what happened with his mother on Mother's Day is going to be, I don't want to say a factor, but I think Chris Paul played better. I think Philly's quite live because it seems like Miami has forgotten how to shoot. They cannot make a 3-pointer save their lives. And Embiid, shockingly, has turned the entire tide of the series because he's one of the best players in the league. Harden at 31 last game. He looked very good. Props to him. But I think if you're asking me which road team do I think is going to be able to ride the momentum, I think Philly has a significantly better chance of winning tonight than Dallas does. I think Phoenix bounces back. I think Miami loses.
Okay.
You?
I think Miami bounces back and Dallas
so we're the opposite.
Has a shot to cover. I don't think they win. But I think 6 might.
I'm not picking Phoenix to fully cover. I just think Phoenix will win the game. But
here's my problem with the Heat. And we talked about this on Chris's show. Duncan Robinson not playing at all. And you've got a team that can't make a 3. Why do you not put him out there, Scott?
Because he can't guard anybody.
Well, I mean,
he'll play tonight.
Well, we played 1 minute last time. Why do you say he plays more tonight?
They need to try something. At the end of the day, Embiid, don't get me wrong, has been very good. But you're looking at Miami's 3-point shooting numbers because the paint's occupied. You're not going to go in against Embiid and get any open looks.
That's the thing. They've
So
shot 25% or less from 3 of the 4 games from downtown.
that's why they've been losing, because if Embiid's going to lock up the post, then you're going to have to make outside shots. So I think at some point Miami's going to compromise defense for offense because they really need help stretching the floor. So I expect Robinson to play. Do I think he's going to play well? I think he'll shoot it okay, but you also might just want him for floor spacing. But I'm really looking at Miami's defense. It's still been pretty good, but Embiid's getting to the line a bunch. Harden's been pretty good. Maxi's been meh, but you know what he's capable of. And Harris has been pretty good. So if you're looking at which team matches up quite well against the opposition, I think Philly actually matches up pretty well. And until Miami offensively, I know Lowry's out, which is probably a good thing for Miami because Lowry has been atrocious in the series. I think it probably helps him that Lowry's not playing because of how bad he was playing and the fact that he's clearly at 40% right now health-wise. I still think Philly's got a decent shot to win tonight.
Okay. By the way, Duncan Robinson's shooting 52.6% from downtown in the playoffs so far.
A lot of it's an outlier because in game 1 against Atlanta, I believe he went like 8 of 9.
He did.
So that's a pretty big outlier there, but for spacing alone, he should be on the court. But people are shocked by it. It's the same thing that happened in the Clippers-Mavericks series last year where Kennard wasn't playing for the first 2-3 games of the series. Right. And it's like, if he's not going to play, then why'd you pay him $70 million during the offseason? And it's a problem that the league is starting to fully realize. You cannot pay 3-point specialists that much money. They need to at least play some defense.
You got to be a 3
and D guy.
That's right.
You can't just be a 3 guy. And from what we've seen, I know Bertans has had a bit of a run with Dallas in this series, but for the most part, Bertans was inactive for a decent portion of last year and this year because he can't guard anyone.
Healthy scratch.
So that's the point.
James S. says the Scots are on Philly, so the pick is Miami.
Could be. I don't have any action on these 2 games. I think it's going to be close.
I'm not on Philly, by the way. I'm on Miami.
He's on Miami. But for me, I don't really like either game tonight from a betting perspective. I think it'll be close. If you're asking me who I think's going to win, I'll actually pick Philly, and I think Phoenix bounces back. If Chris Paul does not have a huge game, I do not mind Booker 35+, maybe 40+, because he was really good last game. I think that might carry over.
Like Chris Paul over tonight. I think he's got something to prove after 5 points in the last game.
For the last 2 games, he's been terrible.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. So there you go. There's only one thing left to do, Scott. Are you ready?
Yep, let's do it.
Well, we talked about the Dodgers yesterday, and that was not our best look, my friend. They just couldn't get anything going against Quintana.
Don't blame us. Blame the Dodgers.
Blame the Dodgers. Absolutely true. So we're going to try to get it going again. And you guys know what time it is. It is Tuesday. It's time to put on your overalls, put on that straw hat, climb aboard your John Deere, pull out the keys, put them in the ignition, and get ready, kids, because once again, it is time to bet the farm. All right, my friend. There it is. There it is. Good afternoon, everybody. Right. See, it's hard to do with headset, isn't it?
Nah, it's on.
Okay. That's quite a look. All right, Scott. We got to get that taste of we got to get that Dodgers taste out of our mouth. So what do we got cooked up for today, my friend?
So for this one, we're going to go back to hockey, looking at that Bruins and Hurricanes game. We're going to take the over. 5.5 goals at -130. If you want to go for 6 at around even money, I don't mind that either, but I do like 5.5. Each of the first 4 games in this series have had at least 6 goals, and that's been the story the entire season, because when these teams get together, you tend to see a lot of goals, because 6 of the first 7 meetings this season have had at least 6 goals. Plus, Carolina has had a lot of high-scoring games in both the playoffs and the final couple games of the regular season. Each of Carolina's last 7 games have had at least 6 goals. And both these teams are really, really good at pressuring opposing goalies. Boston ranks 2nd in the league in shots per game during the regular season, and Carolina ranked 9th. So we see a lot of shots on net, we see a lot of opportunities, and we see a lot of goals, especially with some empty netter potential. Give us the over 5.5.
There you go. That's it. I like it. That is a couple of really nice trends. They have been, like you said, they have been peppering the goals during the regular season and the postseason as well. We'd like that trend to continue in this one. So that's going to do it for the farm. And that's going to do it for our show on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Hope everybody's having a great day, a little daytime baseball. Hope all those tickets are going well for you. Make sure you come back and see us tomorrow. Same deal, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central with Scott and I. We'll once again do our very best to help each and every one of you out there head back to the window.